Who's with me? Morning, everybody. Let's see what's up in the chat room. What's up, people? I'm gonna wait for some people to join. Oh, great. Roger just contacted me now. Who's with me? Hey, everybody. Before we start, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe if you already haven't. Help me out. Trying to build the word here on YouTube. Thank you, Freda, Maritza, Pavel. What does it mean, help? You okay? Are you okay? We're all going through some crazy times right now. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Also, before we get started, I want everybody to know that I have a brand new store. Of course, I'm always going to keep my website, themysticalspiral.com. Mark Thoth is here. So I'm always going to have my website, themysticalspiral.com. That's been my website for years. We're going to keep it that way. But on my website, I had like one of my page that was a store, but it was kind of, it wasn't like an official store where it calculates everything and it checks you out and stuff like that. So I eventually knew I needed to get a legit store. So I finally got a real store. So it makes the checkout process way easier and everything way better. I have more items as well. It's just a better design. So I'm going to have two websites. My one website for information is always going to be themysticalspiral.com. And my new store is at the mysticalspiralstore.com. So it's pretty dope. So if you guys want to check the mysticalspiralstore.com, that's my store, my tensor tools, my crystals. I'm even going to have, right now, my shaman's class that's available is only on my themysticalspiral.com. It's on my store page there, but eventually I'll have that on my my actual store page as well. I just got to figure out how to do video files and stuff like that. My wife actually designed my my new website, my new store. She's good at that kind of stuff, but it's hard right now with the baby and everything to even get time to do stuff like that. So we definitely needed the store. Things like this, my tensor tool. See, this actually is sold out. There'll be more of this item. This is the only item on my store that's sold out right now. They're all popular. It's not that this is more popular. It's just that I hadn't made new ones in these in a while, and I had a certain stock of these, and they just finally, got sold out. So I'll have more available in about 7 days with these ones. This is the Triskelion. I call it the Dream Catcher, the Trinacria Dream Catcher, but some people call it the Triskelion or the Triquerta. It's an example of the Triquerta. So what's very interesting about this as well, the tensor, is that's the old man buddy that watches these grounds. That's my buddy. I just drove by. This symbol is very interesting because not only is this called the Triskelion or Triquerta, but it is also the symbol for Sicily. This is also known as the Trinacria, and Trinacria was the original name for Sicily. And my hereditary line that I'm a reverend of is actually called the Trinacrian Rose, the Trinacrian Rose. So this symbol is the symbol like Sicily has. If you've ever seen the symbol for Sicily, it's a three-legged three. That's like it's three legs in the shape of these three spirals, and sometimes they even have the head of Medusa on there. Very interesting. So this is the Trinacria, it's the Triskelion, or the Dreamcatcher. You know, you guys can actually, if you want to, pre-order it now. They're in the process of being made, so they're ready. They'll be ready to ship in a couple days. So I have all different types at the mysticalspiralstore.com. I even have the Tensor field generator, the Atlantean bracelets. I even have some rose quartz crystal skulls now. Whole bunch of them, little miniature crystal skulls that you can even, if you wanted to, you could make a necklace out of it and put a hole through it. So very interesting stuff. I also have other tensor tools like this, that could be worn as necklaces. I send people necklace material so they can make necklaces out of certain ones. This also is, since I'm here showing you necklaces, this is made of silver. And eventually I want to see if I can carry these at my website. So if anybody knows somebody who sells these in bulk, please let me know. This is called the Chimaruta. It's a symbol for Italian witches, I guess you could say, or shaman. Malandante and Benedante both tend to use this symbol. It's a symbol of protection, and it is a symbol of the ancient mysteries. It's the symbol of ancient protection by the ancient mysteries. And the Chimaruta it's silver here, but it's originally made out of rue. And this would be the rue branch, and all the branches of the rue holding a different symbol. You could see, like holding the key, the flower. Sometimes they'll have a rooster on there, or a dagger, or the crescent moon. And of course the Jettarore sometimes is the symbol to dispel magic. That's called in Italian the Jettarore. It's sort of like if someone gives you the evil eye, or that death glance, that can cause the maloik, the evil eye. If somebody sends that at you, you can send it back to them with the certain hand symbols that sometimes that's called the Jettarore or the Jettarore. It's very interesting. But today I wanted to bring up something very, very powerful. I mean, I've been literally decades been researching these topics. So if you guys haven't joined my Patreon yet, that's the place to get the real inside access. I'm going to be elaborating on all of this stuff. Everything I talk about is laid out, written in articles, and all sorts of, it's more in depth on my Patreon. So patreon.com/themysticalspiral is that. And I wanted to bring up what I've been really the last few weeks. There's been like a rekindling of this research and this experience with crystal skulls and with spiritual technologies from other dimensions, or spiritual technology, you could say, that was used prior to us losing the knowledge on this realm. And I think that certain priests, kings, and pharaohs had this knowledge. And oh, cool! You just looked at the channel, the website. Well, I have two websites, like I said, themysticalspiral.com and themysticalspiralstore.com. Also, I'm on Truth Frequency Radio. If you guys don't know by now, I have a show every Saturday night on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. I've been there for a couple of years. And that's at tfrlive.com/Eye of Ra. The show is called Eye of Ra. So I'm the host there. Sometimes I do shows solo for 2 hours. Sometimes I have guests, but when I do have a guest, it's usually somebody that's an expert in their field at whatever their expertise is. I try to get some of the most interesting people on the planet that I can find. Some of them are actual friends of mine, and some people are just professional acquaintances. But I did a show prior to that as well called Spiral Radio. Before I was on Truth Frequency Radio Network, I was on the Para X Radio Network, which is like a paranormal station, Para X Radio. And I had a show called Spiral Radio for like 2 years on that network. And I have all those old archives for Spiral Radio on my website, themysticalspiral.com. I have every show. I have the show summary there. and I have the you know, the little file that you can listen to it or download it. So all the archives for Truth Frequency Radio are purchased by subscription. The subscription goes to the station to support us being able to do this show, and you can actually hear the last episode for free every week. So, but all my old Spiral Radio you can find on my website for free. I put them all. There's like 80 episodes on there, so it's 80 hours of podcasts or radio. It's actually real radio. It was on a radio station. So, but they're also, Spiral Radio is also on iTunes. I think I have them all on iTunes as well, and other podcast platforms you can find it. But for many years, I've been interested in not only crystals, you know, since I'm little with crystals, but crystal skulls. And when you get to, and we'll get to Akhenaten in a second, because I wanted to go deeper into Akhenaten. I'm trying to see what's up in the live chat. So what did you think of my channel, the possible? Did you like it? It's a much better store now. Maritza. Yeah, Mark, I don't know who Sonia Novik is. How many crystal skulls? What do you mean? Yeah, it's great. Oh, great. How many crystal skulls are there? You mean on my website or altogether in the world? Yeah, my crystals are basically, I call them frequency crystals because I bathe them in a frequency generator, 432 hertz, and orgone powered pyramids. I bathe them with that energy. So yeah, in the world, well, okay, so let's get into the crystal skulls for a minute before we go to Akhenaten. My phone is, oh shit, I only got 20%, but I'm gonna go live later from the house too. I'm out looking for an apartment actually today. I just stopped to make this video, but I'm trying to find a place to live. Even if it's a 1 bedroom right now for the 3 of us, it's better than what we got now. So we'll do it. We're doing it slowly. So so let's get into the crystal skulls. Now, of course, if you start talking about crystal skulls, we gotta definitely talk about the Mayans first. So Mayan prophecies, some of the rarest of stories that you'll find within the Mayan elders, ancient Mayan elders that they have within the Popol Vuh. One of the last of the Mayan elders just recently passed away, Carlos, that was passed down. He was, you know, that still had a lot of the information of the elders, was the shaman Carlos Barrios. I think he passed away a few months ago. His mentor name was Don Isidro. Now I think Don Isidro is a name of a boat as well, and another, it's like a famous name, but there was a Mayan shaman named Don Isidro. Well, am I not manifesting prosperity? No, I would say I am. It's that you know, I lost my regular day job like 8 months ago or whatever, so I decided to just follow my calling full time, like the crystals, the Tensor tools, doing the radio show, doing readings, doing all this. And you know, if I was by myself, I would be fine. I would be making enough money to have my own place, not worry about it. But I'm supporting 3 people, so I haven't manifested enough prosperity to obtain enough riches for 3 people to be well set right now, you know. So, but I could have sold out many times in my life and been making a lot of money, and I chose to follow my spiritual sort of, my heart a lot of times, and it's not been the best when it comes to money, but I'm not worried. I mean, I'm worried for my daughter, but, you know, for her future. Morning, ladies.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm not worried about, you know, myself too much. You know, it's just that I worry about my daughter and her future. I want to give her the best. Of course, I could use magic to try to gain more riches, but that is against my belief system. So there's a fine line between manifesting, wishing, and spell work. And if you're looking for otherworldly influence to gain money without hard work going into it, then shit ain't gonna turn out right. At all. At all. So prosperity, I think I have manifested prosperity. My daughter is beautiful and healthy. I'm spending time with her. You know, I didn't see my dad at a young age. You know, I'm not, and money is, I've never been crazy over money. There's certain people in my family who, even in my family, that money is more important than blood. And that's not me. You know, I didn't say you need magic spells to be to be prosperous. You asked if I was manifesting prosperity, and that's kind of a trick question, because, like, how much prosperity are you talking about? I have enough. I've definitely have a beautiful family, and we're eating every day. We have a place to live, pretty comfortable. So I think I have manifested prosperity. Now, have I gained enough money to be well off? No. And like I said, there's options. Like, when people want to gain a lot of money, there's a fine line between going at it with hard work and wishing, you know? So I don't know if I'm answering your question or not. No, I don't feel like I'm being attacked in any way. I'm just trying to answer what you're saying. I don't think you people need magic spells in any way for anything like that. The only time I would suggest what you would call a magic spell or a prayer is a magic spell. You know, just if people are summoning otherworldly, unseen forces to gain control over life in any way, then you're using black magic. The only way I would say to use a prayer or a spell is if there's unseen forces affecting you that you need protection from. And I would say that would be to pray to a higher force to protect you from anything that may be unseen, that may be affecting your life. And that would be a good prayer. You know, that's as far as I would go. Loud, because most people, they're looking for, oh God, please help me with my test, or God, please help me with money, or God, please help me with this. And that's like you're asking for a divine, otherworldly creature, as the way you're looking at it in your mind. Oh, thank you so much, brother Esteban. Thank you so much. That's the same with, you know, when people think, even when people hear that occult knowledge, they immediately think that you're into like black magic. Now, especially my lineage and who I am and who I've been in prior lifetimes, who I've been throughout the eons that I know, is that we don't make spells, we break them. So the only time we would use what you would call spiritual technology or quote unquote magic would be is if there's unseen forces affecting your physical or spiritual health. And to break that spiritual sickness, you would need assistance from the higher planes to give you guidance to see the true nature of the ailment, and to give you guidance on how to break that ailment or break that spiritual spell. Because there's things that can get embedded within your aura, whether it's insecurities, whether it's somebody else wishing bad on you or negative energy coming at you, sort of gets embedded within your auric bioenergetic field that's around you, and it grows and grows, and eventually it digs its way through all the layers of you till it gets to your physical body, and then sicknesses start to emerge and things start to manifest with your physical health. So in my opinion, all physical elements are rooted in something spiritual from the beginning. And you know, to use magic to manipulate the will of others and your way throughout life is evil. But to use quote-unquote magic or spiritual technology to... Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Pavel. You're a true brother, too. I know you've always been around. Anybody that, you know what I mean. So that's anybody who's using magic to manipulate other people's wills or your will throughout your life, throughout your timeline, then you have crossed over to black magic, and it comes back. It comes back. Yeah, we got that love and support, everybody. Thank you so much. You know, I don't really make no money through YouTube. I think I made like, you know, a few months I got like $100 or something like that, but I haven't made money in months on YouTube. Months. So it's rough out there, and I've been giving out a lot of information for years. So it's a lot of hard work that is basically you know, unrewarded in a lot of ways. So I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. I do this for everybody else. You know, I started putting all this up on YouTube not to make money. You know, it was never about money. It was about getting other people to hear certain things that might change their life. You know, or put them down, and a sort of a way of thinking that might help them in the future, or intrigue them enough to be doing their own research and not just accept the history that we're spoon-fed, you know, throughout school and life. So let's get back to the crystal skulls real quick. You guys have heard of the Mayans. You know, you've asked, somebody had asked in the, love you too, brother. You guys had asked in the chat room, I forget who it was, how many pyramids, how many crystal skulls. Well, according to the Mayans, there were originally 52,000 skulls. And these are aligned with the 520,000 crystal skulls were originally made. And if you go into, and there's also 52,000 pyramids strategically put across our world, that when they go online, they create an energy belt around our whole world for enough electricity for everyone, you know, free energy. And so there was originally 520,000 skulls. Now, when you look into the Mayan, the rarest of information about where these crystal skulls came from, you'll find 3 stories basically, and there's 3 creation stories wrapped within it. And what's interesting is that each one kind of fills in the gap or connects to the other creation story. So from what I remember from my research, you have the one origin story of the crystal skulls coming from Guatemala. And in Guatemala, they talk about how scientists from ancient Atlantis and ancient Mu are responsible for creating these crystal skulls, the ancient crystal skulls. And you know, they are compared to like what a modern day supercomputer could be. You know, they do certain things like this. They can also tell the future. They can heal and cleanse the environment of energy. They could do all sorts of things. So there's in the Guatemalan highlands, they have another interesting creation story about the crystal skulls, that the Maya basically come from the Pleiades, and that this is where the knowledge of the knowledge of making these crystal skulls came from the Pleiades. Now, which is it's just interesting about that is that even the Greeks call, I think it's the second star in the Pleiades, Maya. So hold on, let me fix this. I'm running out of power on my phone, so it went dark. I had to put the light up on my phone. So basically, the third one is that they so the Guatemala Highlands, I think, yeah, it's the Pleiades. So the third one was that they were created in another dimension. Now in the Popol Vuh, they were created like in a parallel dimension. They were created, and they were created by basically knowledge of the Atlantean and Lemurian scientists, that they made it in another dimension. Now in the Popol Vuh, which is like Mayan sacred documents, they talk about how that basically it's like the Popol Vuh. I think even the Vatican has copies of the Popol Vuh in their in their storage facility that they have, their library. So the Popol Vuh talk about two parallel dimensions, Kayala and Paxil, and these are like paradise, like a spiritual paradise. And they talk about how these crystal skulls were made in Kayala, which is like in a parallel dimension from this one, and that's where the knowledge comes from. So I think they're all kind of linked together. I think that the Mayans have genetic origins connected to the Pleiades, and their first colonies on this planet or in this dimension were Atlantis, or actually Mu, or Lemuria and Atlantis. And the knowledge from the Pleiades came to that place, and they also exist parallel spiritual higher plane, that they're connected to the higher world. So I think that knowledge is sort of linked to all three of those stories. Now, what's very interesting before I go is that I believe Akhenaten, or Amunhotep IV, that's his real name, Amunhotep IV, who changed his name to Akhenaten, he found some intense technology where you're speaking to the light, or you're working with light technology that they speak of. And I have been doing decades of research to uncover certain things that I am now starting to post on my Patreon. I started last night with my Akhenaten files, and I'm going to be adding more today, that I pretty much am finding proof how Akhenaten basically was changing timelines. He was manipulating our world with knowledge from another dimension, from higher knowledge. And he actually built his city after the first 5 years. He was Amunhotep IV, right? And then all of a sudden, by the 6th year, he becomes Akhenaten, and his cult of Aten. Aten is known as the glowing disc, right? Now, what people don't realize is during Akhenaten's reign, he was changing things to make it look like it was when the Ogdod were here. The Ogdod are these amphibious and reptilian creator gods. And he even brought his capital city to the middle of Egypt, right where the land of the Ogdod was, the home of the Ogdod, and he made it right across the sea, right across the way from the way of the Ogdod. And he went around and started changing things all over Egypt to make it look like it was before, when the Ogdod were upon the planet. He was the one, during his reign, he was the one that took all the glowing plates off the obelisks. At one time, the red granite obelisks and even the pyramids had plates of shiny gold or shiny metal material over the obelisk that would make them glow like white light in the sun. and they would be luminous. And Akhenaten was the one that took down those plates, and not for money. He did it because he wanted to make the timeline the way it was before, when the creation gods were there, when the Ogdod were once there. Now, many people just look at Akhenaten like he was this monotheistic one god, only the Aten. But no, he was submerged in the ancient knowledge. Even the ones that his father, Amunhotep III, did sacred rites during his Jubilee years to become like the gods. Now, after a pharaoh's reign, after 13 years, he can do a Jubilee festival that makes him into where he he becomes the god, you know. And then, you know, during Amunhotep III's reign, during his like 34th and 35th and 36th years, those years of his reign, he actually built a city dedicated to his Jubilee festival and to his solar rites of becoming like the gods. So they were changing their DNA. They were becoming a super version of themselves through this technology, through this all. So definitely check me out. The new store is at themysticalspiralstore.com. You guys are so great. Thank you for everybody that has donated today. I love you guys all. We'll be back later. You guys inspire me to come back, you know, and do more again. So the more that come, the more it feels like an inspiration to do this. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you all, and Spiral out.